My trip to New York was very memorable. It was my first time there as an adult. I just remember when I was there when I was 17, 18, I thought that New York was very different and I didn't really know what was the hype about. And I came there as a young girl who's an immigrant from Vietnam and I didn't know anything. And my uncle was not like rich either, so we stayed in this small place in Harlem. So I didn't really get a chance to really learn about what New York was. But this time, when I came back around as a full adult who's been working and have network of friends there who work in the finance and tech and crypto industry, it's a whole world of a difference. Most interesting I saw was that it was very interesting to see as an outsider. Most of the jobs that were labor or like lower class, it would be the immigrants, Chinese in Chinatown who doesn't even speak English, black people as concierge or security guards, and pizza places are like also immigrants. Whereas the people who live in the buildings that are super fancy, it's mostly white people and some Asians as well. But a sight to see was when I saw a friend of mine walks in. He's like a short white guy who's super scrawny, but he was being walked into his apartment by a big, tall black guy who's the concierge. I know this is a bit controversial, so please don't hate me on this. It's just an observation, especially coming from Canada where it's a bit more mosaic. And then also talking to a true New Yorker who grew up there, what I noticed is that his dream was to move to a bigger, more expensive apartment on this particular street. And yes, I guess it is a nice place, but it is like so expensive. It was $10,000. And he told me, yeah, it's not smart to buy here because these properties like devalue and their competition is so high that even if you think you're getting a good deal, you're not. And the good deals wouldn't get to you anyways. And people would just work their way up to get a more and more expensive Manhattan place. Whereas you can just like live in New Jersey and just commute downtown to Manhattan as well. But I guess it's all about the vibe of living there. And I was also terrified to take the subway. Thank goodness nothing happened, but it was sketchy down there. And I told my friend that, and he was like, yeah, like sometimes someone get pushed to the subway rails, but other than that, it's pretty safe. And I'm just like, okay. But New York was great. I was very inspired because some of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life lives in New York and works in New York and thrive in New York and wants to be in New York. So as a young person who's also ambitious, I was quite drawn to that scenery. Although I do see the harshness of the part of living in New York where it's super expensive. Even my friend who was paying $10,000 a month in rent for a penthouse, he was stressed about money. And everyone just talks about money. Money speaks in New York. And if you think you're rich, come to New York and you will not feel rich anymore.